November Mike 4 Oscar, KC9VKV. This is November Mike 4 Oscar.
November Mike 4 Oscar. What's the name there, sir?
Okay, it's David, and I hope you have an okay copy on me. I'm running a vertical antenna at the moment. We talked a few weeks ago, the day you had your power failure, and I haven't been back with you since then. Seems like we have thunderstorms frequently on Friday afternoon. Glad to have some break in the weather. Can you copy now?
Yes, sir. I'm copying you 10 dB over my noise level. Your audio is fairly unprocessed, though. Are you running your limiter there at about a 3 out of 10?
Oh, I thought it was. I thought we had adjusted it a few weeks ago. Let me see. I'm running an ICOM 7610, and I need to get back into it. The processor is supposed to be on. Yeah, it's running level 3. My processor's running 3. Can I go up any more?
I would stay there right now, but go to your ALC where you can see your ALC meter and adjust your mic gain until your ALC is running mid-scale to 2/3.
Okay. All right. ALC meter's running about 2/3 on the peak now.
So it looks like your ALC is now running mid-scale to 2/3?
Yes, it's running mid-scale to 2/3. Sometimes it runs almost to the in the red, but it's running just about at the right place. And I'm backing off the mic a little. That should help also.
All right. Did we ever go to what is that called? There's another adjustment. What is that? Peak or something like that?
Let me see. I think we went to. There's a drive gain that we adjusted, and it's at 65%.
Roger, take that to 75. I'm going to get you fat, one way or the other. You're about 6 dB dynamic range. You should be about 3, and I'm just curious if we can get you fattened up there. So check that drive from 65 to 75, and let me hear you.
KC9VKV. This is November Mike 4 Oscar. And that does just seem to hold it closer where it is. It's at 75% now.
Yeah, it did hold up a lot better there. Maybe if you could give me a little, about 10 seconds or 15 on your antenna situation, and I can hear you a little bit better, Roger.
KC9VKV. This is November Mike 4 Oscar. I'm using a vertical antenna, a metal antenna with the tuner on the amplifier, which is an Expert 1.5 K amplifier running 600 watts at the moment, and we have some thunderstorms in the area. We'll not be able to stay on long.
Roger, David. Now I'm going to make an exception in your case and go to a 4 on that compressor. I'm going to make an exception. Go to 4 on that compressor, and then give me about 10 seconds and tell me about your radio, Roger.
Okay. The radio is an ICOM 7610, and I adjusted the level to 4 on the compressor. Before we adjusted the audio some and adjusted the bass down and the treble up to try to get it a little brighter. I'm using the hand mic with a winch, and I'm holding it about 2 inches away from my mouth at the time. It seems to be more consistent if I back off some.
Roger, that looks a little fuller. That does seem a little fuller. Now, your voice is just a little more complicated than the normal person's voice, and I can't quite put my finger on it, but it needs a little, extra processing, which I think we've got going there to get that average peak modulation up. Roger?
Okay, does it sound reasonable? I'm not looking at it on anything other than the ALC meter, and that's all I can see at the moment. I'm backed away from the mic a little. Does that help any get a little more tone in the voice?
I would work that microphone about 2 inches away. I would religiously work that microphone consistently about 2 inches away, and let me hear just a little bit like that.
Okay, this is about 2 inches away as best I can tell because it's straight in front of me. I'm not touching the mic. I tried talking from the side, and I think you suggested I talk directly into it, even though it's a hand mic. But thank you for checking me out this afternoon, and I'm glad you got your video back on YouTube.
Oh, Roger, me too, man. We'd run for about 3 years without any problems, and then we had 3 failures right in a row. The first one, obviously, was the power failure, and then the next week, somehow, I'm not sure whether it was equipment failure or operator error, but at the end of the time, we did not have a file. And then I did a pop-up air check between the Fridays just to see if we had everything under control, and I'd been doing some work and rearranging things, and I wound up with a bunch of RF and the AF on that deal. So now I think we've got everything squared away, and the last 2, not to tempt fate, but the last 2 have been perfect, and this is the third one, and hopefully the tradition continues. Roger?
I hope so too. I understand you've worked a lot on that thing, and you worked many hours trying to get it straightened out, and it's really something when you got the computer and programs, one program running on top of another or intertwined. And I'm glad you're taking time, but I do not want to hold you from other callers. I think you had some more a few minutes ago anyway. KC9VKV, this is November Mike 4 Oscar. You have a well over S9 signal as usual here in southeastern North Carolina.
Roger, David. Now, we are looking for great radio stories. We're trying to broaden things out just a little bit on the Qso-Vlog network. Looking for great radio stories, whether they're amateur radio stories or war-related radio stories or commercial-related radio stories, but just great radio stories. Would you happen to have one?
Oh, no, I'm not a big story person anyway, and I don't have any great stories to share other than I enjoy amateur radio, and I was licensed around 1980, and I did not save a copy of my original license, and I can't find a place to look back to find out exactly when I was licensed.
I think you can do, if you go to Google, I think you can put your call sign in, and Google will tell you all that stuff, Roger.
Well, I've changed calls a couple of times. I started out with a novice license, and now I have a different. I had a different call when I went to the advanced, and now I have a vanity call, and it doesn't go back, or I can't find where it goes back to that far. I can see where I originally got this call sign, or I thought I could. At one time I could, around 2005, but I haven't been able to go back to the other one. I'll try Google search again.
Roger. I think Google will tell you you put the call sign in, and they'll tell you the expiration date, I believe. Or there is something that will come up when you Google your call sign. There will be something, I think, that will come up that will tell you what your expiration date is. I'm pretty sure. So just Google that and see what happens, Roger.
Oh, I'm talking about the date that I was originally licensed. My original license as a novice back in around 1979, 1980. It tells me when I need to relicense now, but I put in my old call sign, my original call sign, and can't come up with anything, but I'll keep looking at it. It's not that important anyway. It's just curiosity on my part.
Oh, Roger, I thought you were concerned about the expiration date. Yeah, it will give you that. And as far as the other, I don't know. I think when you switch call signs, your old call sign goes into into the usable call signs from the FCC, and they will dispatch that old call sign to somebody else. As far as you're concerned, you have your new call sign, and you have relinquished the old one, and I don't think you can really backtrack that way too much, as I would think anyway. Well, let me say threes. We enjoyed it there, and you have a real good weekend. And if you get a chance, check back in next Friday, Roger.
Okay, will do. I'll check the audio to see what it sounds like when I listen to it this time. Thanks a lot, and have a good afternoon. 7-3, this is November Mike 4 Oscar.
Roger. Yeah, go to YouTube and do a call letter search, Kilo Charlie 9 Victor, Kilo Victor, and that will take you to the Qso-Vlog page, and look for My Group Air Check 82319. My Group Air Check 82319. This is Kilo Charlie 9 Victor, Kilo Victor, and the Friday afternoon Qso-Vlog page. We are recording now live till 5. If you've got a radio you want to check out the audio, give us a shout. KC9VKV.